All right, welcome back everyone to the Deep Dive. Today we're diving into a topic I know a lot of you are interested in.
Yeah, super relevant for a ton of our listeners.
Definitely. We're talking about the IELTS speaking test, and specifically how to get that band 7 or higher.
Which is like the holy grail for a lot of people taking this test.
For sure. So we're going to really break it down today. We've been digging through some fantastic resources, and we've got some really solid advice for you.
Absolutely.
Our mission today is to help you avoid the common mistakes that can really hurt your score. We're going to look at the most effective strategies to boost your performance, and of course, we've got some of those, bonus insider tips to help you stand out from the crowd.
Really give you an edge.
Exactly.
Yeah. So let's jump right in. Let's start by talking about some of the things that people often do wrong.
Yeah, I think that's a great place to start. Let's talk about the mistakes.
Yeah.
So, mistake number 1, and I think this might seem obvious, but it's giving those super short answers.
Right, like one-word answers.
Exactly. So, the examiner asks you something like, do you enjoy traveling? And you just say, yes.
And that's it.
You've got to remember the examiner is trying to figure out how well you can actually speak English.
They need more to go on.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Doesn't really give them much to work with.
Exactly. And this is something our source material emphasizes really strongly.
Yeah.
You've got to give them reasons, examples, to tell them why you enjoy traveling. Do you like experiencing new cultures, trying new foods? Maybe you love the adventure of it all.
Right. Like, I love traveling because it allows me to immerse myself in different cultures, that kind of thing.
Exactly. That shows you can express yourself, and that's what they're looking for.
Absolutely. Okay. Mistake number 2, and I think a lot of people fall into this trap, is memorizing answers.
Oh, yeah, trying to sound like a robot.
Yeah, you spend hours crafting these perfect responses to every possible question.
And you know what? Examiners can spot that from a mile away.
Oh, totally. It sounds so unnatural.
Right. It's like you're reciting a script instead of having a real conversation. And that's not what they want to hear. They want to see how you communicate authentically, how you think on your feet.
Yeah. So really try to avoid that.
Definitely. Natural is always better.
Okay. How about speaking speed? I know that's something I struggle with when I get nervous.
It's a common issue. But speaking too quickly can be just as bad as speaking too slowly.
Right, because if you're rushing, you might not pronounce things clearly, or you might make more grammatical errors.
Exactly. And if you speak too slowly, it can sound hesitant.
Like you're not confident.
Right. So the key is to find a comfortable pace, somewhere in the middle.
We're speaking clearly and naturally.
And remember to breathe.
Yes, good point. Okay, another mistake that test takers often make is trying to use those really big, complicated words.
I think people feel like they need to impress the examiner with their vocabulary.
Yeah, they want to show off.
Yeah.
But you know what? Using simple words correctly is way better than using complex words incorrectly.
Absolutely. Accuracy trumps complexity every time. Focus on using words you know well, words you're comfortable with.
And make sure you're using them in the right context.
Right. It's about clarity of communication, not about showing off your vocabulary.
I think that's something a lot of people forget.
Yeah. And then we have the issue of coherence.
Lack of coherence, right?
Yeah.
It's like your ideas are all over the place.
Yeah, like you're jumping from one thought to another without any clear connection.
And that can be really confusing for the listener.
Absolutely. You need to structure your answers in a logical way. Think of it as telling a mini story.
You've got a beginning, a middle, and an end.
Exactly. And you use linking words and phrases to connect your ideas smoothly. Like, firstly, secondly, on the other hand. Those kinds of things.
It's like guiding the listener through your thought process.
Exactly. Okay, let's talk about pauses.
Oh, yeah, those can be tricky.
It's natural to pause when you're speaking, especially if you need a moment to think.
Right. I mean, we all do it.
Absolutely. But if you're constantly pausing, umming and ahing, it can disrupt the flow of your speech.
And make you sound less fluent.
Right. So the key is to minimize those unnecessary pauses. And the best way to do that is to practice thinking in English.
Don't translate from your native language in your head.
Yeah, try to form your thoughts directly in English. It takes practice, but it makes a huge difference.
It really does. Okay, last mistake we're going to talk about is pronunciation and intonation.
And this is a big one.
It's not just about saying the words correctly, it's about how you say them.
Your pronunciation needs to be clear. The examiner needs to be able to understand what you're saying.
Right. And your intonation, the rise and fall of your voice, needs to sound natural.
Like you're having a real conversation, not reading from a textbook.
Exactly. Okay, so we've talked about the common mistakes. Now let's move on to some strategies for improvement.
Yes, let's talk about what you can do to really boost your score.
Okay, strategy number 1, and I think this is super important, is practicing under exam conditions.
Absolutely. You need to get used to the time pressure.
Right. The speaking test is only about 11 to 14 minutes long.
Yeah. So you need to be able to think and speak quickly and effectively. And the best way to do that is to practice with a timer.
Set yourself a time limit and see how you do.
It'll help you manage your time better during the actual test.
Absolutely. Okay, strategy number 2. Record yourself speaking.
I know. It can be a bit cringy.
Yeah, listening to your own voice can be awkward.
But it's so valuable.
It is. It really is. When you
Yeah.
listen back to yourself, you can hear those little things you might not notice otherwise.
Like pronunciation errors, those ums and ahs. Maybe you're speaking too quickly or too slowly.
Right. It's all about self-awareness.
And once you're aware of those things, you can start to work on them.
Yeah, it's like having your own personal coach.
In a way, yeah. All right, next up, thinking in English.
We touched on this earlier, but it's so important it deserves its own strategy.
Definitely. This is a game changer.
If you're translating from your native language in your head, it's going to slow you down.
And it's going to make your speech sound less natural.
So train yourself to think directly in English.
It might feel weird at first, but it gets easier with practice.
Promise. And it's so worth it.
Totally. Okay, how about sentence structure?
Yeah. Should we be aiming for super complex sentences all the time?
Not necessarily. The key is to use a variety of sentence structures.
Mix it up.
Right. Use short, simple sentences when appropriate.
And then throw in some longer, more complex sentences to show off your range.
Exactly. But don't force it. Keep it natural.
Like you're having a normal conversation. Okay, we talked about expanding on your answers earlier. Let's dive a little deeper into that.
Yeah, how can people actually improve this skill?
Well, I think it's about making a conscious effort to add more detail to your responses.
Don't just answer the question directly. Give reasons, provide examples, tell a story.
Exactly. Think about the why and the how, not just the what.
And it doesn't have to be anything complicated. Just a few extra sentences to flesh out your ideas.
And make your answers more interesting.
Exactly. All right, next strategy. Practice speaking with different people.
I love this one.
It's such a great way to improve your fluency and confidence.
Because you get exposed to different accents, different speaking styles.
Right, and you learn to adapt your communication to different people.
Which is a really valuable skill.
It makes you a more well-rounded speaker.
Okay, learning to paraphrase.
Yeah.
Why is this so important?
Because examiners often ask similar questions in different ways.
To see if you're really understanding the concept.
Exactly. So you need to be able to express the same idea in different ways.
Use different vocabulary, different grammatical structure.
It shows flexibility.
And it prevents you from sounding repetitive.
Okay, self-correction. What if you make a mistake while you're speaking?
Yeah, that's bound to happen, right?
Absolutely. Don't panic. Just acknowledge the mistake and correct yourself.
Smoothly and naturally.
It shows that you're aware of your own language use and that you can recover from errors.
Yeah, it's better than just ignoring the mistake and hoping the examiner didn't notice.
Much better. Okay, let's talk about listening.
Listening.
Yes, listening to fluent English speakers is a fantastic way to improve your own speaking.
Oh, I see.
Listen to podcasts, watch movies, listen to the news.
Really immerse yourself in the language.
Exactly. It'll help you develop your pronunciation, your intonation, and your overall fluency.
It's like osmosis. You just absorb it all.
Exactly. Okay, last strategy. Fillers.
Those little words and phrases we use to fill the silence.
Yeah, like, things like that.
Some people try to avoid them completely.
Which can actually make you sound less natural.
It's okay to use fillers. Just don't overuse them.
Right. Use them strategically to give yourself a moment to think.
But don't let them take over your speech.
Okay, so those are some strategies. Now let's get into some bonus tips.
Yeah, those little extra things that can give you an edge.
Okay, tip number 1. Confidence is key.
Yeah, even if you're feeling nervous, try to project confidence.
Speak clearly, make eye contact, stand tall.
It'll make a difference.
Absolutely. Okay, eye contact.
Yeah, especially in an online test setting.
Make sure you're looking at the camera.
It shows that you're engaged and that you're paying attention.
Okay, body language.
Use natural hand gestures and facial expressions.
It'll make your speech more dynamic and engaging.
But don't go overboard. Keep it subtle.
Okay. Avoid one-word answers.
We talked about this earlier, but it's so important it deserves repeating.
Give full answers.
At least 2 to 3 sentences.
It shows that you can communicate effectively.
Okay, stay calm.
If you make a mistake, don't freak out.
Just keep going.
The examiner understands that you're nervous.
And they're not expecting you to be perfect.
And finally, practice, practice, practice.
Use real IELTS sample topics.
The more you practice, the better you'll get.
And the more confident you'll feel.
Absolutely. So there you have it.
That was a lot of information.
It was, but it was all really important stuff.
I think our listeners are going to find this super helpful.
I hope so.
Now, our source actually has a really interesting challenge for you to try.
Yeah, this is a great way to put everything we've talked about into practice.
So pick one IELTS speaking topic, just one,
Any topic will do.
and record yourself speaking about it for, the typical amount of time you'd get in the exam.
2 minutes or so. Then listen back to that recording. Really listen.
And try to identify just one area where you think you could improve.
Maybe it's your pronunciation, maybe it's your grammar, maybe it's your fluency.
Whatever it is, focus on that one thing during your next practice session.
Work on it until you feel more confident.
It's a really targeted way to improve.
And it can make a huge difference.
So give it a try. We know you can achieve that band 7 or higher.
You got this.
And that's it for today's deep dive.
Join us next time for more tips and strategies to help you succeed.